Hello lovely people, I'm K3N and welcome to the CQ West Unfolding Stories 6 exhibition. Now I'm handheld, so you'll have to excuse me if it's wobbly. So I'll start here and I'll try not to spin around too fast so I don't make you all seasick. So here are some smaller pieces on the table here. Here's some mini little rice bags made by my friend Chrissy, who made the big rice bags that you'll see later. There's a lovely little piece from Dot and Judith, the bigger piece with the pink flower. That's Stephanie's lovely bags. I'll just go closer to the wall-mounted pieces so you can see them. I have got all the lights on, I hope it's okay. This is by Wendy Jump. Those of you who follow me on Facebook will have seen pictures. Oh, that's my shadow, I'm sorry about that. This is beautiful. This is called Approaching Storm. And it's paint on cloth and then with just some stitching put in for the details. And this is another storm-inspired piece. Sorry about the reflections. And then a third one up at the top. I don't think going closer will help. I'll try. Does that help? No, not really. That's the problem with glass frames. Moving slowly. I'll go back again because this is quite a large piece. This is by Sylvia Hammond. This is called The Road to Mandalay. So I'll show you it from far back and then I'll zoom in for the detail. There's a lot of stitching in this one. Sylvia is also very much in the slow stitch movement. You just zoom you in so you look at the texture and the cloth from the stitching. Is it focused? Yeah. Focus, focus, focus. Beautiful stitching, look at that. I'll just scan you up a bit. And all the little details of colour. It's just gorgeous. Gorgeous. Zooming out slowly. I know myself when I watch these it can be a bit dizzy making, so I'll do my best. And then by contrast next door are these wonderful pieces by Anna Kirby, and I'll zoom you in a minute. These beautiful bright colours, all handwork. Anna's also a slow stitcher. And these pieces are complementary to the jacket that I'll show you in a little while. That highlight the plight of young people in children's homes in the UK. So these pieces represent the feelings of isolation and so on that the children experience, and they're called in fact Isolation 1 and Isolation 2. And I'll zoom you into the top one first so you can see the details. So this represents the fact that isolation can feel very lonely. So you see the empty circle with the crystal in it. And then the other complementary piece below, I'll go down very slowly, represents that isolation can also feel very kind of, messy in your head and busy and confusing. So that circle's full of all the couch threads and so forth. There's a smaller piece there in the window. Not sure whose that is. I'll look later and then I'll put it on the screen if it's... And these are from the same series by Anna. You see there, that's repurposed denim from a skirt. You see the one button's done up and the other buttons are open. All the chain stitching on the bottom piece continuous, and then on the top piece all the chains are broken. Very powerful piece. Going back slowly, slowly. And here are some I'll just show you down here first on this table. Here are some lovely little slow stitch books from Sylvia, who made the heavily stitched piece I showed you just now. So it's a little bundle of cloths and felt, all ready to be made into a little slow stitch book. Aren't they wonderful? an all repurposed cloth as well. You see what they're called, Save the Planet. And that's Sylvia on Instagram if you want to look her up, at Slow Stitch Sylvia on Instagram. I think a lot of you will like her work very much. And then above there is Sylvia's piece Lost, which I also shared recently on my social media. And that tells the story of her father, I think it was her father, who was in a prisoner of war camp during the war. Another powerful piece. So now we'll move over to these three pieces, and these are on vintage linen. To get back a little bit further. Whoops, just bumped my head on something. Sorry. These are by Wendy Jump. These are watercolour on vintage linen, as I said. And kind of abstract-ish flowers. I'll take you in closer for some detail. So this one is sunflowers. And then above it is daisies and phlomis. I love saying phlomis. I'm going to say it again, phlomis. Just take you in closer so you can see the stitching. It's quite minimal stitching, but just enough to give some detail to it. Absolutely beautiful. And then the third one, I believe, is foxglove. I might be wrong. In fact, I'm guessing. But there's a label, luckily. Yeah, foxglove, correct, Catherine. Also lovely. I love how she just let the... Oh, hang on, I have to focus you. Better? I love how she just let the paint drip. Very much in the spirit of going with the process. And this next piece is by Lucy, and it's called Girl in a Hat. And I'll zoom you in because the body of the girl is all tiny little scraps of cloth. Now you're not focused anymore. There we go. Do you see? Do you see? Do you see? Teeny tiny little scraps of all kinds of, they're like Liberty fabrics. Beautiful. And moving back, looking behind me to make sure I don't bump anything again. Sorry about the blurring. And this scroll is from Wendy Weller, who is in our Facebook group as well. And this is a sample piece. Every square represents a different natural dye. I can't remember how many there are exactly. Oops. And she's joined them into a scroll. I'm sorry, it keeps going out of focus. There we go. She's joined them into a scroll, and then she's stitched into them with the same, with the thread dyed with the same plant. Also, oh, it feels so soft. I wish you could feel it. Beautiful. And then in this little box at the side are the threads. Isn't that just gorgeous? And you see they're all labelled with the names of the plants that she's used. So that is beech leaves, for example. That's weak woad, pink, on silk. I think of woad being blue, but many of these plants have got so many different chemicals in them that you can get a whole range of colours from them if you treat them differently. Oh yes, and on each piece she's represented the, so here it's carrot tops, and here it says, can you see, coreopsis flowers, all in different ways. Oops, sort that out in a minute. I've messed with the display. And here we've got, I shared a photo of one of these, I think it was the one that's top right recently. These are felted pieces by Marion, who's standing behind me. So that makes me feel a bit self-conscious. I think I showed you the top right piece, and I think I said how difficult it was on a photograph to appreciate. I'll just go in slowly, so hopefully you can see better here. Do you see all the plant material actually trapped? Sorry, it keeps going out of focus. There we go. actually trapped within the felt. Get my hand out of the way. Do you see? Just so textural and beautiful. Oh, and that's my finger. Sorry, it's a bit rubbish. I'll just show you the details of the others. Very slowly. It's that one. And this one. And this series is called Seasonal Confusion. And this one there. And I love the way that there are bits of cloth included as well. Do you see there the cloth print on the left and at the bottom? Just wonderful. So, going very slowly. The next two pieces are by Dot Carter. And again, that's printed onto cloth and then stitched into. Are they behind? I don't think they're behind glass, so I can go a bit further in. Lovely, lovely, gentle work by Dottie always. It's just so. And this has got a vintage doily in the background. And going slowly round. You'll spy on the windowsill as I go past some of the little journals and bags that are by yours truly. I'll go past my apron, I'll come back to that. And these pieces are by Jane Brooks, and they represent coastal landscapes. So they were slow stitched, long lengths like you would make a scroll, and then stitched into, and they're mounted on old barnwood, on which they look absolutely wonderful. I might be pinching that idea. I've got a bit of old barnwood at home. I'll zoom you in so you can see some of the stitching. Look at that. And I have to say that some of the cloths within there were eco-printed by me. I'm very proud to say that Jane chose them to include them in her pieces. And you can really see the inspiration of the coastline and the colours and the shapes. So moving around. And here on the wall are pieces by Rachel Dickey, who's also inspired by nature. Many of us are. Who wouldn't be? So there's the two big scrolls and then two frame pieces. And Rachel does a lot of printing on cloth as well. And then I think she then mostly machine stitches. I'll zoom you in so you can see some of the detail. There we go. It says on there, the shape nature makes. And on here it says, spreading seed on the ground, the rain and the wind, insects crawling. They're wonderful. And I'll just take you past the doorway. And these two very bright and colourful pieces are by Alicia. The table's in the way, so it's a bit difficult. I have to either get behind the table or in front of the table. Go behind the table. And I believe, I'm not an expert, because Alicia digitally manipulates prints and then prints them onto cloth and then stitches onto them. She will tell me if I'm wrong. And I think the one on the left is all straight. It's the same design, but the one on the left is all sort of straight lines, and then on the right it was manipulated to make it go all swirly. And then machine stitched for embellishment afterwards. Now, the rest of the exhibition, apart from my pieces, are in the cafe. And there are people in the cafe, so I'll take you in and show you. The pieces on the left here, the triptych, are by Stephanie Crawford, and they're called That's Life. They're painted onto cotton sheet and then free machine stitched. And these pieces are from Judith, and they're fantasy flowers, and they represent her recent embracing of positivity. The word yes is quilted into them. This piece is by Fran, and this is painted on recycled cloth. And this is Bluebell Wood by Lucy, And the next pieces are by Judy Stevens. The one on the left is called Incorrect and represents struggles with tech. Okay, so I'm back in the main gallery now. Hopefully I managed to put voiceover on the other, otherwise I'll have to do captions. So there are quite a lot of people in there. These are the giant rice bags made by my friend Chrissy. They're absolutely amazing. All the cloth she painted herself, and then it's free machine stitched into. Actually, she's got a big long arm, which is great fun to play on. And then there's the three, you know, small, medium and large, like the three bears. And then up on the wall, sorry, not on the wall, hanging from the ceiling is the jacket of Anna's, whose work represents the children in children's homes. So I shall take you in so you can... All done by hand, all hand stitched. And she stitched a lot of the words and statistics and so forth into it. And that's all also recycled denim. I believe that's from the same skirt as the pieces on the wall there. And then the lining, I will show you. It's all little houses. Oops, sorry, it's now rocking and wobbling and not focusing. I'll take you around the back. Actually, I could have just turned it. Do you see that statistic in the middle? Over 100,000 children looked after in the UK, as in looked after in children's homes. And then there's some more statistics at the bottom. Very powerful work by Anna. And then you see the echo of the keep still jacket, of the circle with the crystal at the top there. And then the other piece hanging from the ceiling that I just bumped my head on is, you'll be interested in this, especially those of you that did the Buried Bundle project or are doing the Buried Bundle project. Because this piece, it's in perspex, so I don't want to get reflections. This piece is by Wendy, again, who did the scroll with the natural dyes on. Sorry, there's a lot of noise now behind me. And this was buried in the ground, I think, for 4 months. And then dug up again. It's called Unearthed. And I think then, I'm not sure, but I think she then did more stitching into it. But it's now trapped between these two pieces of perspex because you see how fragmented it's gone on this end. It looks like something in a museum, you know, a piece of archaeology. It's wonderful. Well, I think you would know that I would like that. I'll show you the other side. Woo! I'm sorry, it's so dark in here. Look at those little fragile scraps on this end. Okay. And finally, now I was going to put this on, but it's very warm here, so I don't think I will. Here's my apron. Whoa, it's gone blurry again. So I'll take you in and show you. And my bag, my forager's bag is actually from the video where I made a drawstring bag. That is the bag. So if you haven't yet seen that and you want to see how I made that, that's where it is. You know, with the cloth twine bottom, many of you will recognise that. And here is my apron, my forager's pinny, which is made from old denim. You'll see some of the pockets in it, straight off the jeans. And also a lot of the scraps in the pockets came from an old pinny of mine that was made out of a French linen nightie that I wore for many years in the garden and patched and mended, and eventually it fell apart. So I took it apart and included some of it on this new pinny. And it's got 13 pockets to represent my 13 acres of wood. This pocket here, stop going blurry. This pocket here actually came off the old pinny entirely. You see it's got, those are date seeds, those three in a line, date pips, whatever you call them, and a Chinese coin, and a cowrie shell. It's a little owl. That was a patch on, that was actually on the back of my jeans for a long time, that patch pocket with the owl. Now it's on the pinny. That's also a pocket with the orange strip going vertically there. That's off Hans's jeans that I'd mended with the eyelet stitch. And underneath is another pocket off that's the front of my old penny made into a pocket. It came with the initials SH. And that's another bit of the pinny and various jeans and so on. Again, it's all hand stitched. I'll take you around this way. Sorry, I had to get up a bit quick because I was squatting and my knees don't do slowly anymore. It's either quick or not at all. And the sun's coming through the window onto the back of it, so I hope you can see it. And now you're going to get my shadow probably. So I made it in like a crossover apron. You know, I think it's a Japanese design originally. So there's my shadow. Maybe it's better if I just stay there. I don't know. No. So there's no ties or anything, you know, it's just you just put your head through. And then the lining was some old sheet that I eco-printed with leaves from the woods. All the leaves on the lining are from my woods. Try this way. Do you see, do you see, do you see? That's chestnut there, that one. Oh, I can turn the thing, that would have been handy. And there's another pocket that was also on my old penny with a button. So that's my forager's apron. And the last thing I wanted to show you is the journal, the forager's journal. And there is a video which will already be on by the time you see this, whoops, of me putting the bundle books in. So these are all the bundle books that were in my woodland, and they're all included in this rather monster journal. So if you want to, you know, see the full flip through, there's a video called The Forager's Journal. And then the wrap for it is, you see how big it is? If you've watched that video, you'll see how I ended up with a 6-inch spine. And the wrap for it is very much Borrow-inspired scraps of old cloth, stitched onto what was a drop cloth. I'll show you the inside. It's a real backstory. Move the journal out of the way. Whoops! So it's not easy with one hand. So that's the back. And you see I cobbled it together because it wasn't big enough. Certainly not when I made the spine 6 inches wide. I had to add an extra piece on. But I just left it all, you know, uneven and raggedy. And there we go. So I shall put that back when I've got 2 hands free. And I hope that was okay. Oh look, there's me. There I am. I hope that was okay for those of you that were unable to come. The exhibition will be on again in October in Symondsbury. I'll put the details down in the description for anyone in the UK that, you know, wasn't able to come here or is further down that way. That's sort of more down towards the West Country. And meanwhile, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to you joining me next time for more Cloth Tales. Bye bye.